The Other Side Media Group and 91X now present The Other Side Radio Show, a program about people who make a difference from all walks of life in Quinte and beyond. And now here are your hosts, Jeremy and Joshua Davis.
Well, hello and welcome again to The Other Side Live. I'm Jeremy T. Davis, and joining me behind the mic is Scott, the man on the street. Figuratively, welcome to our show. It's great to have you here today.
Figuratively, but not literally, but I do fully understand what these people, I shouldn't say these people, but what's going on. I saw the problem coming a few years ago, and now it's exponentially, it's shown itself in governments can't or don't want to do anything about it, and there's red tape, and the church has got to deal with it. And the thing is, they want to put it out of harm's way or out of eyesight, doing Abraham Hall. Financially, I don't think they can afford it. You can interrupt me anytime you want, Jeremy. The mayor wants $2.2 million. Bigger cities have got the same problem. Again, I don't know what the solution is. I'm just lucky that I have a roof over my head. Back to you.
Well, thank you, Scott. And you jumped right in there, but that's okay. Yes, one of the reasons why we wanted to have you on today, and Josh couldn't be here, but he wants to be part of a follow-up discussion, is we wanted to bring to light some of the latest issues that we have been seeing not only in the local media, but Belleville has made national media, and some would say, and most would probably say and agree, not necessarily for, well, definitely not for the right reasons. So if I can step back, sort of speaking, Scott, here, you kind of alluded to this in your opening, but so what we're experiencing in Belleville and beyond right now, but let's focus on Belleville, our city, was not at all a surprise to you when, just a couple of weeks ago now, when this first airs anyway, our current mayor, Neil Ellis, who was our former MP for the Bay of Quinte, declared a state of emergency due to the addiction or opium crisis. So it wasn't a surprise to you, and you saw it coming and saw it looming for a long time, like so many. Do you want to expand on that, and we'll go from there, Scott?
Is this a political issue? I don't know. I've used the benefits of the Salvation Army, not so much recently, but they've been a big help to me in the past. I think there's a few issues going on. Mental health is no question a big issue. Higher interest rates, affordability, housing. It's like the perfect storm. And I think it's hit a lot of vulnerable people very hard. I could have been one of those vulnerable people. Maybe I still am. I got my issues. I drink too much, okay? I'm not afraid to say that. I do. But I've got, a fallback, people that like me, and I, for the most part, I'm staying out of the elements. So, but I literally do not know what can be done about it, because it just seems like it's escalating and exponentially out of control. And I'm not too sure money is going to solve the issue.
Well, a very good point, Scott, because as I mentioned, and I'm not trying to, just put myself into the situation, and I'm not just trying to make myself look better, but as I mentioned, when I was asked for my input and my opinion with one of my committees of council that I'm currently serving on. My input about this exponential crisis and state of emergency, I was quick to point out we all recognize, or most of us anyway, the need for, extra services, the need to try and ensure that these individuals, this vulnerable population doesn't fall through the cracks. But the reality of it is, even though I support in principle about there needs to be a detox center, there needs to be services under one roof, like the hub that has not only been proposed, but looks like it's going to go forward with the John Howard Society. But this thing doesn't happen overnight. The reality of it is, some of the people and some of this population, it's hard enough to get these individuals to want to go into a warming center, let alone go into a facility to seek out the help. There's many people that want help, and the services do need to be there. But let's just also recognize the reality, because it's such a complex issue, and there's so many moving parts. And you mentioned mental illness and all those things. So do I think it should be available? Yes, but it's not a one-stop solution for all people. Would you agree with that? And we'll go from there.
Jeremy, I absolutely agree with that. We're all individuals. We all have our stories. We all have our issues. We all have our circumstances. People, everything they own. I'm a minimalist myself. Everything they own is a shopping cart, and they have to leave it outside. Maybe some of them, the only common ground they have is addiction. Can they live together and trust each other? You know, that's an issue too. There's several, as you said, a lot of moving parts to it. Everyone's an individual, and there's no easy answer, and I'm sure I don't have the answer. I don't think our politicians have the answer, and I don't think our business community has the answer either. I'm just a man on the street.
Well, absolutely, but everything, all these parts and all the realities had to be discussed and had to be brought to the table. So, when a current mayor, and I know, and this isn't a slam against any of our leadership, but when a current mayor cites, and he did in the media that, if our provincial, in this case he said the provincial, but he also meant other levels of government, if they don't answer the call, then we have to do it ourselves. The reality of it is, we do know that something does have to be done. You don't have to wait. But the reality is, we have to make sure that we have not only the actual physical place available, which the hub is going to be at the former Alhambra Square, but you do have to make sure that there is going to be the complete not only business model, but that we have the supports to staff this type of thing and all of that, because you can build it, but if if we have to have the supports of the other levels of government, because if you just go at it alone, you're going to quickly risk the chance of running out of resources that you'll need once you're in operation.
The concept of the hall is out of sight, out of mind. And the thing is, Mr. Ellis, I have all the respect in the world for our municipal politicians, but he said several things that are a little contradictory. For one thing, by definition, and you've ran for municipal,
Yeah,
right, Jeremy?
correct.
By law, they can't run a deficit, right? Municipal politicians, government cannot run deficits.
Wow.
And you can ask for all the money in the world, but every community is going to ask for money if, and again, I live in Belleville, I'm a Belleville resident, but this issue is everywhere.
Absolutely.
And financially, I don't think money is going to correct the problem at all.
And further to that, if I may, and then you can jump in there, and then we'll move on. You know, there's so many things with this topic and other topics. We look forward to having you back on and have more, frank discussions on the issues facing not only Bellevillians, but the issues facing Canadians and those people around the world, no doubt, because people can hear this broadcast through our streaming apps as well. If you may allow me for a minute to be the devil's advocate. As I said, I am for anyone that knows me. I am for helping and doing what we can and building a better, safer, more accessible community. But I'm so much more as well. But if the provincial government just answered the request as it stood from Mayor Ellis and the current council, that sets a precedent. So every municipality, as you said, these issues are not unique to our city. They're just at, for our population per capita, they're at a boiling point. Or they appear to be because of, how close-knit this community is and the effects that it has had on our downtown core, to name just one area, and in particular, Bridge Street United Church Ministry, and so on. So that's the thing. That's the reason why. And I'm not taking sides here, but that's why any upper level of government, in this case the provincial government, can't just grant a full amount without seeing the full plan. And I believe even Hastings County Council, if my memory serves me correctly, shared that viewpoint. We need to know more details and the nuts and bolts of the plan and the issue. Not to say we won't support it and moving forward, but before anything else grows to a reality. And now, the other thing too, very quickly, I know you want to jump in here, is as of last night's council meeting, when this originally will air, Mayor Ellis has now, and the majority of council, aside from two councillors, and I believe that was Paul Carr, Thurlow Ward councillor, and I believe Catherine Brown. I don't have it right in front of me, So if I don't have, I think I have that entirely accurate, but otherwise someone write in and correct me. We're the only two that voted against the levy, the levy that will be tacked on for this year and next, that will amount to another increase in the taxes. And the bottom line is, everyday people, everyday families are struggling now. So the issue we want to help and we want to do what is best. And if they can see where exactly where the money will go and the success rate, maybe there wouldn't be an issue to try and come up with it, but to put it on the backs of the taxpayer when they're already stretched in this inflationary economy, will spell a lot of trouble for a lot of individuals. So take it from there, man on the street.
Once again, I am not on the street. I'm in Tim Hortons, lovely east end of Belleville. And I think we're at an inflection point. I think just because it's out in the open, this issue, as long as I've been in Belleville, has always been here. It's just quickly manifested itself to be obvious in front of a church. And people want to push the issue away so they don't have to see it. I'm sorry, I'm being bluntly honest. So they take it out. Out of where Upper Handle, is that the place out there? A little bit, Upper Handle Hall? Yeah. And you want money. But the thing is, our municipal politicians, not name names, you can ask for as much money as you want. But we're not a large community. So if we get that money, you don't think every municipality that's a lot bigger than us is going to demand the same thing? Because this issue is not Belleville constricted. It's everywhere. We had one incident, and we made front news for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, right.
So I'm going to leave it at that, Jeremy.
Well, thank you. And when I say man on the street, I'm talking like that's your handle. But you have been out there. You have experienced homelessness before because of the issues we mentioned before: housing affordability, the support services, and so on. And let me also raise another point. Okay. Okay, and Joshua and I, as well as my entire family, are fortunate to know many, many wonderful people from all walks of life in this community. And that can include people that are considered in marginalized situations, and it also can include people that are very well off and fortunate. I always say, the reality of it is, in this inflationary economy, we're all just one step away. Our reality today can instantly change in like you could blink and you could be out there. So we're not judging, but I also do want to quickly share before we move on, to some extent, not all the details, but some of the details for an awareness piece. Of course, as residents, we always look for, reassurance and steadfast accountability, if I can, from our leadership in times of uncertainty or times of trouble. But, and I love Belleville, and this isn't to instill fear in anyone, but Mayor Ellis came out, and as your mayor, no matter who it is, in this term, currently it is Mayor Ellis back at the helm. Last time it was former Mayor Mitch Panchak. And of course, people are going to want answers to those questions. And he comes out and says, well, downtown Belleville is perfectly safe. Now, anyone that knows me knows that I have always been and always will be an advocate for small business and downtown Belleville, and I do as much as I can there. I've been part of committees of council and other boards for many, many years, involved with the Chamber of Commerce. It's been an honor, still am today, with my twin brother, with our media, and so on. But for someone to say, well, it's perfectly safe. Well, I want to tell the public that I would like to believe and say that it is perfectly safe, not only in our downtown core or our entire city, but the reality is that I think we all know. There is safety concerns everywhere, and it doesn't just mean because of the vulnerable population. But I bring this up because recently I was affected by a theft of my debit card, and I was inside a restaurant, a fast food restaurant at Bridge West and Sydney. We can leave it at that if you want. And this individual came up before closing time in the dining room and asked myself, my brother, or my girlfriend, can I use your phone to make a call for a ride? Now, if we don't know the individual, we don't get the phone, but we like to help out where we can. So we did the call on speakerphone, and the long and short of it is unannounced, or not unannounced, but unaware, this individual was able, and he ended up getting my debit card because it was missing and ran out of the restaurant. I have dealt with the police and the bank ever since, with fraud reports and so forth, and having to prove, and then the bank didn't actually, they originally declined me getting money back because they were questioning if it really was a fraud report. And I'm just saying this, the situation is rectified now, but I'm just saying this to make people aware that it is out there. It's out there in every city. It's impossible to say that every area is safe. Does that mean that we stop doing our daily business? No. But we have to be aware and we have to be vigilant. And so, any further comment to that assessment, Scott, and we'll go from there.
Well, that was quite the monologue. I agree with pretty much everything you said, but I believe they did a poll about, I believe it was on a local radio station, are you willing to have your taxes raised to help alleviate the situation? For the most part, people aren't willing to spend a few more dollars on their tax bill every year to help the situation. So if you don't have the public support, you're just adding fuel to the fire. And you can take the issue, you can put it out in the East End, you can put it out on Hague Road. It's not going away.
And it's still going to be there.
And it's still going to be there. And it's not just a Belleville thing. We just become the poster boy for it. And that's all I have to say about it.
Yes, and I would also like to say it's been about 10 years since they debated about police services here. Should they remain with the Belleville Police Service? It's value for money, as Thurlow Councillor Paul Carr said, although they say Thurlow Councillor, but once you're on council, you're still a voice for the city as a whole, because it's one vote, one voice, even though you have a specialty. And I would say that I would have to study the issues, study the expenditures that would be in front of me. But one thing would be clear to me at the moment. We spent the money to invest in a brand new police station not that long ago. Right now, and currently, it's under the leadership of Chief Callahan, who's retiring. So it's okay to have a discussion, but to have, it brought back to the table where it says, should we go with or stay with Belleville Police or go to the OPP? It seems to me, if that happens, we're potentially going to put ourselves in a situation. I wouldn't want to see us have to change, because if you go to the OPP, you would have to likely possibly change facilities. I'm not sure. So what's your quick opinion on that before we run out of time?
I don't know about the police in situation. I'm from Sterling, and we fought the OPP because they were very cushy with the Sterling Police Force, and they had it pretty good. We built a police station just outside of Sterling. I know local communities like to hold on to their local police force. I know it's more financially prudent to probably just go with the OPP, but it loses a sense of community, and I'm not the connection with the community. So that's all I can pretty much say about that.
Well, thank you. And for now, we'll have to just keep posted on this debate that will move forward. No decisions have been made, and we wish Chief Callahan all the best with the rest of his tenure and his retirement. He's a great guy, and with a great force. So. There's so much to say, so little time. Okay, in closing here, Scott, what do you think will be, just in summation, the next step that they will do, now that they've passed this levy? Do you see movement on this issue and the hub as fast as they think, or do you see it something that is still going to be in the making because of the moving parts and because we have to secure the support services and the other levels of government to make sure that it will be an operation that will be able to continue and go from there. So what do you see happening next in the immediate?
The street I live on, paramedics, it's even hard to figure out if it's paramedics or fire engines or whatever. It's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth all day. Who knows what the individual issue is? I think this is all Band-Aid situation. I was told by someone of some authority and some credence and so forth that I'm a bit of a drinker, quite a bit of a drinker. And this particular woman in authority, I'm not going to name the name or the organization, it's not going to do anything for you. If you went to rehab, you just go back doing the same thing you were doing before. And I'm not addicted to heavy drugs. I do not, and I'm a glass half empty type of guy, unfortunately. Right now, unless someone a lot smarter than me has the answer, I can't even come close to having the answer. And that's all I have to say.
I really appreciate you coming, sharing your perspective with us today on The Other Side Live. It has been very enlightening. Josh and I really love to tell the real stories. That's why we got into this broadcasting thing with the Other Side Media Group, and we look forward to having you back. And Josh will be here next time, and there's so many more things we can discuss, so we hope you'll come back. So thank you very much, Scott. It's been my pleasure, and if there's anything else you want to add, and then we'll go from there. And we will see you next time on The Other Side Live.
Jeremy, always appreciate the time. And again, this is just my perspective, my opinion. It has nothing to do with anybody else. This is what I see on the street.
Thank you. And I think that's what our public appreciates and loves to hear, because everyone has a viewpoint, everyone has a voice, and they deserve to be heard. For now, this has been Jeremy T. Davis on location with Scott, the man on the street, for The Other Side Live.
The Other Side Radio Show is a production of the Other Side Media Group in association with 91X. You can connect on Facebook at the Other Side Media Group, Instagram at Jeremy Tyler Davis, or on YouTube at Jeremy T. Davis, Belleville, Ontario, for on-demand episodes and more. Tune in next week for another episode of the Other Side Radio Show.